Hello again everyone, Deflect here, Firm but Fair Gaming. Wanted to bring you a video this week because this week is awful for Mythic Keys. Just awful. And if you don't know what this week is, why it makes it so awful, I will let you know. It is fortified, so non-boss enemies, all the trash mob, have 20% more health, and they do 30% increased damage. So, that's always great, 30% increased damage from all the packs before the bosses, which is really nice. That's always fun. It's actually, Tyrannical's almost easier, I find, as the trash hits really, really hard in some instances. Now, to go along with this, just because Fortified is always, I don't hate Fortified. Fortified is good. It's just when you couple all these together, it really makes it bad. So, Sanguine. When you kill an enemy, a non-boss enemy, that would be one of your fortified enemies, it drops a red circle. So it will drop a red circle, and if creatures stand in it, the enemies, it will heal them for 5% of their maximum health every second, so you do not want to stun them in this. Or it damages players for 15% of their max health every 1 second, so you don't want to stand in it either. So these sanguine puddles are nasty little puddles. And it wouldn't be that bad if they were on their own with something else because you just avoid them and you kite them away. Well, the problem is you have to kite earlier now due to Necrotic. Yeah, so if you are a tank, you know what Necrotic is. It's you start taking stacks off hits, and every hit reduces the healing you can get. And basically at 30 stacks, you are like unhealable, and you just have to run until you drop the stacks. The stacks last 8 seconds. So some of these trash packs can actually catch you. And if you're at the beginning of a dungeon where there's not a lot of room to kite, you're pretty much screwed where you can and can't go. Not all trash packs can be slowed because some are elites, and that just makes it even better. So if you're a tank this week, you know the pain. It is just an ugly week for tanking. Just due to everything, because you have to now tank them away with when you get necrotics, and then if you manage to kill an enemy on the way to you, you now have to tank the remaining enemies around the sanguine so they don't walk through it and heal themselves. But I did find the build that I'm using currently, and that is still with Kyrian, and it is for the Vengeance Demon Hunter. And the build I use, and I'll show you a couple variations. You want to use Clea, and the big reason for using Clea is it then, your vial then becomes an on-use one again, and it will remove the necrotic. So once every 3 minutes, you can remove your max stacks of necrotic, which is very nice. Downfall is only once every 3 minutes, but at least you can do it. And if you're using the right soul or the right tree here, you can also reduce the damage you take by 20% for 8 seconds after you use it. So it's a great combination. The other points for Clea aren't like really that great. Grant stacks of Valiant Strike, which is okay. You want to use a condensed Anima Sphere. This does a lot of actual healing. Compared to my other stuff, this one actually does quite a bit. And it was about, in a run, it was about 10% of my healing came from this Anima Spear. So a good chunk of healing. To put that into perspective, I only had 13% on my blood spattered scale. So it wasn't that far behind it. But you'll have to take finesse conduits the way I go through this. Pick whatever you want. They all suck, so it doesn't matter. Pick whichever one you think is the most fun or useful at the time. There is a change you can make. When you get down, I go left for 5 seconds out of combat, you gain a shield, so at least you have 10% shield usually when you jump in if you want to wait 5 seconds. Fell Defender is another great one. Reduces a cooldown of Fell Devastation by 13%. This is the one you can switch in and out. If you're in a dungeon where you're not going to take a ton of magic damage, I would then take Roaring Fire. Its Fell Devastation will heal you for up to 36% more based on your missing health. Fell Devastation in the runs is about a 9% of my overall healing. So if you add another 36%, you're up around 12% for healing, which is very good. If you're not taking a lot of magic damage, you can take this one out because it's only a 9% reduction. Pop in Roaring Fire for this week. Then it'll just come straight down, chance to crit for this. I have Repeat Decree for the little extra damage you'll do while you're kiting away. Then again, we talked about the other vial where you take 20% less damage after drinking this for 8 seconds. Unfortunately, it's another crappy finesse conduit, but luckily this one's only 2. So I just use Consume Magic in case there's something else to do. And then this one's back on the Valiant Strike. So Kalia is the way to go for Necrotic weeks. It then makes your Vial of Serenity on use. So you can choose when to use it. Use it somewhere around 30 stacks. And if you don't have room to kite, it will drop all of them instantly. There are going to be very, very crappy dungeons regardless of your build this week. Art and Wield section of DOS is awful, just awful. The birds already add a debuff with their pecking, and then you get a necrotic debuff, and then you got to try and kite them all the way. It's horrendous. So keep that in mind. The other things I am running just to work with this build, instead I dropped the wrists and I went with Dark Glare Medallion. I have had this thing proc 5 times in a row, so the proc chance of this is actually pretty good. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and all this does is give you another Fell Devastation to stay alive a little longer, so you'll stay in Metamorphosis state for 6 seconds. I'll show you the talents in a sec, but that is what you want to do. Now, again, your stats are going to be the same as every other build. Try and do as much haste and versatility as you can. But the talents for this week is I picked Spirit Bomb, and I'll tell you why. You don't have to. I just did it when I get there. Infernal Strike. You will want this because you are kiting all the time. So you want Infernal Strike cooldown reduced. So this is Abysmal Strike. Reduces the cooldown by 8 seconds. A large chunk of reduction. This is a necessity. The next one, Fallout, Immolation Aura, initiates burst and has a chance to shatter lesser souls. I just picked this because I was using Spirit Bomb. If you feel the need, you want to use Burning Alive, feel free to use Burning Alive and Charred Flesh together. If you want to use those two together in this one, you can, feel free. The only thing is I found I wasn't soul cleaving a lot, so the Fiery Brands build was not working well for this. So that's why I switched it up to this. So I use Fallout, Spirit Bomb, because I can jump in, Spirit Bomb, I'm going to heal with what I do, and then I can jump out and Elysian Decree and drop that out on people and on mobs, and that will actually do damage and heal me as well. So that's the whole reason behind what I did there. Again, Fracture's the same. Quicken Sigils is a must. Well, almost a must. Sigil Chain is pretty good this week as well. So it's 20% reduced, but I found I was using my Sigil of Misery a lot. So I use this one. Chains is actually good to tie the mobs back. I was thankfully running with a bunch of groups that could stun and slow, but if you're not, Sigil Chains will be a must to run this week. Daemonic and, of course, Last Resort is key this week. So that's a quick overview of what I am running. It's definitely a crappy week regardless of what you run, but try this one out. It saved me a lot with that Dark Glare because I did, like I said, I have had it proc 5 times in a row, and it procs more often than it doesn't, I found, in dungeons. So it was very good. It helped out a lot, and then it would just let you stand in there a couple seconds longer, or worst case, it's at the end of a pull, and next pull you can jump right in and just blast them with Fell Devastation to start. So definitely try it out. It is worth it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Once again, this was Deflect, Firm But Fair Gaming. We'll see you in the next video.